Hello and what's up? What's going on? Welcome to What's on Tap, George on Tap, everything that happened on NFL Sunday. My name is George Arjour or George on Tap, and today was a interesting day of football. We had a lot of good games and actually a lot of stinkers. We had a lot of bad post. The 1 o'clock window was one of the worst 1 o'clock windows, 1 o'clock Pacific time windows I've ever seen in the NFL. The games were kind of boring, but before we get started, I will go through every single game. That's kind of a little fun thing I do try to do here on Sunday. And then on Tuesday, I do like a full NFL recap because by then we'll actually know what happened Monday Night Football and where everything stands. But before we get to that, one word on the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys lost an absolute stinker, an absolute horrible, an absolute shellacking, an absolute butt kicking, an absolute destruction, an absolute annihilation, an absolute, I don't know. What other words can you use to describe it? Maybe you guys can comment down below. There is so many words to describe how bad the Dallas Cowboys were. It was an absolute horrific showing by the Dallas Cowboys. Horrible. How about them Cowboys? What about them? They're bad. But I got one word for you and one word only that will show what I think is the problem with the Dallas Cowboys, and that's loyalty. They're too loyal. And that goes to Jerry Jones. Happy 82nd birthday, dude. That was a bad birthday for Jerry Jones, to say the least. But the problem with the Dallas Cowboys goes beyond that. The team, of course, you watched it. They had one of their worst defeats in years to the Detroit Lions, 47-9. We're talking about two franchises, the Thanksgiving game franchises that are going in complete opposite directions. But the problem is Jerry Jones has become too loyal. He became too loyal to Dak Prescott and gave him a huge contract extension before the season. We've seen him do that with Ezekiel Elliott before. We see him giving out contracts left and right to people who've been in the organization for long. He had trouble moving off Tony Romo because he said he felt like he was a son to him. We've seen him stay too long with Jason Garrett. Now we're seeing him stay too long with Mike McCarthy. It's over. Mike McCarthy will not win a Super Bowl with this team. Done, simple. Couldn't be more obvious to everyone else except for Jerry Jones. But it's stubbornness, it's loyalty. It's, hey, we had a problem before, and the problem with the Dallas Cowboys years ago where they were too reactionary. And you know who heard that? Jerry Jones. And what did he do? He went the complete opposite direction. Now he's too loyal. He cares too much. He likes his his ability to be friends with these guys. He loves Mike McCarthy. He loves Dak Prescott, and he has problems firing him. And that has led to the downfall of the Dallas Cowboys, which was once the most proud franchise in all of sports. Now we are looking at them. They haven't made the Super Bowl since 95 or 96. And we're approaching 30 plus years that America's team, I'm wearing, this is not a Cowboys, this is the USA jersey, by the way, still hasn't made a Super Bowl. And that's because Jerry Jones has went from one way, which was very, very, very reactionary, to becoming way too loyal to the soil. The Cowboys are doing this to themselves. Jerry Jones is doing it to himself. And at some point, you got to cut the cord. And he said there's a bye week right now, but he said they're not doing a coaching change. This is the perfect time, perfect opportunity for the Dallas Cowboys to be able to get rid of Mike McCarthy, but they're way too loyal and they won't do it. All right, what's on tap? I just want to go through game by game of the NFL this weekend, give you my quick reactions, and we're going to be signing off very early today. It's like a 10-minute show. Tuesday, we'll come back with our long show. But I just want to get some things out there. We've already talked about the 49ers and Seahawks, but we're going to go with all the Sunday games. We're going to start off the Jags and Bears. The Jaguars are 1-5. And we're going to try to do one word on each team. Jags, lost. This team is lost. They don't know what to do. They have Trevor Lawrence. Might be a good quarterback, might not be a good quarterback. I'll tell you one thing. This team quit. Maybe my one word should be quit. The Chicago Bears. Hope. I'm giving you hope on the Chicago Bears. They're 4-2 now, and Caleb Williams had 4 touchdown passes, and he seems like he's finally coming on. And this guy might be a star. The Bears have maybe their best quarterback ever. The Cardinals. What's one word on the Cardinals? Let's find a word on the Cardinals. Disappointing. Kyler Murray should be a better quarterback. The team should be playing better, but they just can't show up. The Packers. One word on the Packers. Promising. This Packers team is now 4-2. And Jordan Love, there was so much MVP hype before the season. Guess what? That MVP hype is warranted. You don't want to know why? Because Jordan Love leads the NFL in touchdown passes per game. Another 4 touchdowns for Jordan Love. The team's rolling. The Colts, old. And that's because Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is the ageless wonder. Is he elite? He might be. He threw 2 touchdowns, 189 yards, and Joe Flacco has led the Colts to help them lead them to a 3-3 record. The Titans, one word, terrible. Will Levis just makes too many mistakes. They're not a very good team. They shouldn't have fired Mike Vrabel. Don't know what they're doing. Texans, contenders. The Texans are simply a contender to make the Super Bowl this year. They're 5-1 now. They did it without Nico Collins. They put up 41 points, and CJ Stroud just looks elite. Patriots, one word, poor. Just a poor team. Drake May is made his first start, threw 3 touchdown passes. Actually looks like he could be a good quarterback, but everything around him is poor. Buccaneers, redemption. Baker Mayfield's gotten his redemption around the league. He is a good quarterback. I know he threw 3 picks, but it didn't matter. He threw 4 touchdown passes. Mike Evans was banged up, and the Buccaneers found a way to win a road game against the Saints. The Saints, sassy? Maybe we'll say that. This team is not very good, but they're not very bad. And Spencer Rattler gave him a change of pace. And in general, he seems like he might be the quarterback of the future, or at least a temporary quarterback as they figure out what their future is. The Browns, poop. Do I have to explain more? Bench Deshaun Watson. Get to Jameis Winston. It's about time. The Eagles. Cocky? I don't know. Nick Sirianni started talking crap to the Eagles fans, and that was just weird to me. You beat a 1-5 Browns team. Very weird situation there with the Eagles, but they are 3-2. And Jalen Hurts, when he has A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith both healthy, usually is good. Commanders. They lose to the Ravens 23-30. Commanders, though, are cool. They're a team that is probably a year away from competing for a Super Bowl with Jaden Daniels, and we've seen a lot of quarterbacks in their second year at the Super Bowl, so it's not beyond the realm of possibility. But they're just 1 year away. Dan Quinville is doing a great and excellent job of building this team. The Ravens. Renegades. They play such a good style of football. They're the best, maybe best offense in the NFL. Derrick Henry is an ageless wonder still, and he's running the ball better than anyone else in the NFL. And Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson. There's a reason he's won 2 MVP awards, and why he probably could win an MVP award this year if there wasn't voter fatigue. Chargers. Sick. I'm only saying that because Jim Harbaugh was sick. And in general, I hope he's feeling better. But this team is pretty good. They're buttoned up. They're a great team. The Broncos. This one's hard average. The Broncos are just an average football team. Bo Nix could be a good quarterback, but he's a year away. Sean Payton has his hands full. Steelers, stellar. Their defense is just good. They're one of those teams that's going to beat every bad team and probably lose to every good team. The Raiders, regret. They probably should be regretting giving Antonio Pierce the job. This guy, maybe he's a good dude, but the team is definitely not in a situation where they're going to be competing for anything other than being a top 10 pick. The Lions, loud. They made a loud statement. They're now 4-1. They're one of the best teams in the NFL. They're showing last year wasn't a fluke. Dan Campbell is proving all the haters wrong, and this team is just very good. The Cowboys, we did a whole one thing, and it was loyal. They need to fire Mike McCarthy. The Falcons, fantastic. Good team, good weapons. Kirk Cousins is really good. Panthers, putrid. This is the worst team in the NFL. 1-5, 0-3 at home. There's nothing good about the Panthers. The Bengals beat the Giants 17-7. My one word on the Bengals is believe. You got to believe in this team. They have Joe Burrow. He's a great quarterback, and maybe they can go on a run and get somewhere far. But it started with today, and now they're 2-4. And the Giants, one word is coaching. Brian Dable's a good coach. He's keeping these teams in games by himself. This is not a situation while the Giants are 2-4 because of a head coach, but they're 2-4 because of everything else. And I think Brian Dable is a great head coach. And I hope that he gets his time in New York, because if he doesn't, he's going to have his time somewhere else, and he deserves it. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. This has been the George on Tap Show. What's on Tap in sports? My name is George on Tap. Make sure you like and subscribe. And this is part of the Sports on Tap network. And we'll see you guys next time, which will be Tuesday for those watching at home.